What's up, everybody? My name is Ferreiras. I am a poet and author of The Sun, Underground, and All the Colors in Between. My poem is called Protect What I Want From Me, and it is loosely inspired, well, not loosely, it is directly inspired by the piece by Jenny Holzer, and she is an artist, and that title really came to me almost like as an inversion of her version of that phrase, which is protect me from what I want. And because this poem is all about desire and resentment of that desire, I thought that the inversion of the phrase from protect me from what I want to protect what I want from me was a very fitting way of playing around with that name. Protect what I want from me. When I survive my yawns till midnight, they turn to poems. Another lung opens and a more honest angel takes the shift. It says I'm weak for what I want and just as guilty for it. I mean, truly, what do you feed the heart that wants it all? The intro of this poem is really a way of me introducing the overarching theme of this piece, which is desire and a resentment of that desire. That there's something in me that knows better about what I want, and that also knows truly what it is that I want. And it's a way of me exploring kind of relationship that I have to craving. I've got my hungers and I've got my ways of eating. See, these feral curiosities, they do move me. And this hungry heart has stopped for better or worse plenty, but it does not quit. The root and the belly, they growl differently. At this point, I'm still sort of curious about that relationship to craving and how at certain times of the night you can find yourself feeling really impulsive and really in the mood for a lot of things that are probably not the best for you, right? That's really what craving is all about. And for me, it's about trying to find a sort of clarity, find better clarity around where is that hunger really coming from? Is that hunger coming from, like, for example, my stomach, my belly, or is it coming from something much deeper than that? And trying to discern, like, you know, is this really a craving, or is this really a want? Is this really a need? And trying to make sense of that tug and pull. See, there are hours where salt and vinegar is the only tongue that understands, the only flavor besides tears and sweat that gets it, and it's almost always after midnight, but always before anything vanilla and best licked off the fingers. And in these hours, you don't want what's good for you, you want what tastes good, even if you feel like the next day. At this point, I'm really sort of leaning into precisely what those cravings are, and a lot of these are both kind of archetypal, thinking about the like overarching kind of like flavor profiles, but then also it's quite literal, right? So at that point of the night, I'm really in the mood for something kind of like the junk food, so to speak, you know? We're thinking salt and vinegar chips, we're thinking vanilla ice cream, we're thinking something that's gonna be, you know, very like visceral and just like yummy and like the full extreme of different flavors, but, you know, also like zoom out and we're thinking about something that is a little bit more even beyond that sort of like literal kind of craving. I'm thinking, you know, salt kind of like tears, right? I'm thinking vinegar, something kind of acidic, right? I'm thinking something vanilla, something kind of soft, right? And all of this kind of what do you call it? This insatiable craving where I want it all. I want everything. I want all flavors happening all at once. All shall be lost whether you have it or not. An impulse so have while you can. All shall be lost, but you've come too far to forget. Well, to hell with it. There's this kind of like, you know, the angel on my shoulder and then the better angel on my shoulder. And there's two voices here. In the poem, in the initial and on the actual script, it's in italics, and it's sort of meant to it's meant to explore this kind of like two voices, one on one shoulder and one on the other, and both of them are sort of saying,
Do you mean like the devil and the angel?
Yeah.
Or an angel and a better angel?
Yeah, exactly. An angel and a better angel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
So okay.
yeah. So there's like one angel that maybe is a little lesser, and then a better angel on top of that, right? But maybe I'll clarify that. Yeah, maybe I can clarify that.
No, I think it's like if it's in the video, then it
Yeah.
means that that's what it was meant. So you just want to make sure that that's what you meant.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sort of contending with the fact that, you know, I'm trying to put my better foot forward, or I'm trying to like, you know, keep in sight all the work that I've done to kind of resist craving or resist that kind of impulsive howl. But then there's something in you, the other voice, you know, that howling impulse that's just like, well, to hell with it, just give in. Your ears, the left side of your face, congestion, pain, promise, progress, such spaces you've worked so hard to orient, your best foot forward, your best life, your body mass index, your place here, forget it. You want to breathe ether. You want to become the space you orient, to be the heat and the engine, the coal and the furnace, chimney and black smoke, rain and cloud and thunder back down, burn each story of this house to the ground, leave nothing to build from, disappear to a place you can hear the quiet machines breathing and breathe with them, beyond the heat, where the clear hollow of fire watches the world burn from within, without. And what I'm contending with in this part is how by resenting your own desires, you essentially find yourself wanting annihilation, which is to say you want to get back to the point, kind of like back to the point before the 0 became a 1, back to the point before nothing became something. You want to go back to nothing. Because that's in a way what resenting desire does. Resenting your own desire, no less, is that you find yourself saying, I don't want this, but I want this all the time. And so when you are in that tug and pull, the only thing that that leaves room for is this annihilation, this kind of hunger for destruction of the hunger itself. You don't want to want at all. You want it gone. You want it outside. You want it out of you completely, vanquished. And that's really what this point of the poem is doing, is sort of trying to collapse everything from the vessel down to the very essence of the thing that embodies a vessel, if that makes sense. And is it wrong? Is it so wrong that I would go anywhere, do anything, starve, pale, shrink, and shrivel up to reach the point before this fire started, cancel the hunger, beat it to before it is born, throw it up, spit it out? Is it wrong I want to know where the hunger comes from, so I can never need again, to never eat again, to be clear of it? And I think this part of the poem really captures exactly that sense of you just, when you find yourself resenting your own desire, you just want it out of you completely, almost like an exorcism, right? Because I think that part of what hunger can do, and what this poem is really trying to explore, is how your hunger makes you dangerous, especially bringing that back to the title of the poem, that, you know, you want to protect what you want from you. So it's like if you're hungry for that particular thing, or if you're craving that particular thing, you want that particular thing, it's not safe for the particular thing. And sort of making peace with something that is like phenomenologically inherent, like hunger or desire, is a really tricky thing to do when you yourself feel all of that kind of tempestuous emotion that you feel when you really want something or crave it. See, when Prometheus stole the flame from God, he whispered it into our bodies, into our hearts as penance. But this ravenous animal can only feed on the thought of an old lover's skin for so long before you start pulling off your own to feel the last time they touched you there and you felt it. I'm sure we only get what we can handle, and I can't help but wonder what he is not giving me. If what I'm missing would kill me right now or set us free, and these honest angels only protect what I want from me by sending poems instead of your body. And I think at this point of the conclusion of this poem, it sort of ties it back to a larger mythology, this notion of Prometheus who stole the flame from God. And, I sort of play around with that myth where instead of it being like this literal Prometheus steals the flame from God, and then as punishment he's he's got like vultures who peck on his belly or on his ribs or whatever, and it heals perpetually. And I'm thinking more so symbolically, well, what if in stealing this flame from God, or from the gods or whatever, God kind of whispers it into the heat of our own bodies, which is what keeps us hungry. And the ravenous animal is actually this thing from within that keeps us feeding and keeps us hungry, and kind of keeps us insatiable. Right. And then part of the conclusion is realizing that this is actually about a craving for a person, right? And wanting someone at a particular hour of the night, and knowing that it's probably dangerous to, to reach out to them for whatever reason that might be. Maybe you've made progress in your kind of keeping away from them, or you've made progress in, your relationship, or you're getting over them or whatever. And, we all know what that's like when you just want to send that old message to that person, but that it might open up a can of worms. And that's really what this part of the poem is kind of contending with, where perhaps maybe these angels are actually, the irony of it is that, bringing it back to the beginning of the poem, where you start to get those yawns and you start to get the inspiration to write a poem. Maybe the reason you get that is so that you actually divert your attention and distract yourself from succumbing to the impulse to reach out to the inspiration of the poem itself, in a way sort of feeding you by giving you something else instead. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you want to check out more of the poems, check out Extended Mic on YouTube and Instagram. And you can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. And enjoy the poems. Enjoy the process.
You have your Nintendo there.
I do. I have my
super
Switch. I'm playing Hades 2. So
what is that?
It's like a top and isometric, it's called a roguelike. So basically every level you play is never the same. So it's always a different, and you have to, anyway, it's a really fun game. So
You're the first person that
You're the first person.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Because everyone's like goofing around. Everyone's like, oh,
This is so
weird.
Oh my god, sitting in the chair.